In a small village, nestled between endless mustard fields and dusty roads, lived a boy named Arav. He was known to everyone as the Silent One. While the other children filled the air with their shouts playing cricket or gathering near the tea stall, Arav remained a quiet observer, watching from a distance. He spoke only when he absolutely had to, preferring a simple nod to a full sentence, and his gaze was almost always fixed on the ground. Many villagers mistook his silence for weakness or fear. Some of the kids would even tease him, calling him mute, even though Arav could speak perfectly well. He lived with his grandmother in a small mud house at the very edge of the village. His parents had passed away years ago, and since then, his world had shrunk, growing smaller and quieter with each passing day. His routine was simple. Every morning, he'd help his grandmother fetch water from the well and collect firewood for their small kitchen. Then, he would walk to the village school, find his usual seat on the last bench, and listen intently to every word the teacher said, though he never once raised his hand to ask or answer a question. But what nobody in the village knew was that Arav had a secret. Behind his house stood a massive ancient banyan tree. It was his sanctuary. Under its sprawling branches, hidden from all prying eyes, Arav spent his evenings with nothing but a piece of charcoal and broken slate tiles he had collected. On those rough grey surfaces, he drew. He drew everything his eyes captured. The village well with its worn-out rope, the tired, sun-beaten faces of the farmers returning from the fields, the little sparrows resting on electric wires, and even the complex emotions he could never shape into words. His drawings were astonishingly real, so detailed that they seemed to breathe. He captured shadows, expressions, and movement with a skill he had never been taught. One day, a new government teacher, Mr. Sharma, was transferred to the village school. Unlike others, he was a man who noticed the small things. He saw how the margins of Arav's notebooks were filled with tiny, intricate sketches of faces, trees, and village scenes. During a lunch break, Mr. Sharma quietly picked up Arav's notebook and began to turn the pages. He was completely stunned by what he saw. He walked over to the silent boy and asked gently, "These drawings, did you make them?" Arav hesitated for a long moment, then gave a small, almost imperceptible nod. From that day forward, Mr. Sharma became his champion. He brought Arav proper pencils, clean white paper, and old art books filled with masterpieces. For the first time in his life, someone truly saw Arav and believed in the world he kept hidden. Arav still didn't speak much, but a new light began to shine in his eyes. A few months later, an announcement was made. The village had been selected to participate in a district cultural fair. The school was asked to contribute something creative. Most teachers suggested the usual folk dances and songs, but Mr. Sharma had a different idea. He suggested an art exhibition. The other villagers laughed. "What can our village kids possibly draw?" they scoffed. Mr. Sharma just smiled and said, "Just you wait." On the day of the fair, Arav's drawings were displayed on simple, handmade boards. As people walked by, they started to slow down, and then they stopped completely. They just stood there, staring. A drawing of an old farmer wiping sweat from his weathered face brought tears to many eyes. Another depicted a mother, silhouetted against a sunset, waiting at her door for her child to return home. The emotions captured in charcoal were powerful, real, and deeply human. Before long, a large crowd had gathered around the small exhibit. A reporter from a local newspaper started snapping photos. Arav stood in a corner, his heart pounding with a mix of nervousness and hope, as silent as ever. "Who made these incredible pieces?" someone in the crowd asked loudly. Mr. Sharma proudly pointed to Arav. The very same villagers who had once ignored him now looked at him with expressions of shock, awe, and immense pride. Weeks later, a letter arrived for Arav. He had been awarded a full scholarship to a prestigious art school in the city. His grandmother held the letter, tears of pure joy streaming down her face. As Arav prepared to leave the village, he took one last look back at the banyan tree, the golden fields, and the quiet roads that had shaped him. He was still the silent one, but he no longer needed words. His talent spoke for him, and its voice was louder than any he could have ever imagined.